Gotcha.
The Empress Shell Styx is the Lunastra Light Bowgun. It's a rarity 8 weapon, which means you get 1 augmentation slot. You're going to need a Lunastra gem and 1 research commission ticket in order to make this gun. You're also going to need some Xeno'jiiva parts, and that can be annoying as well if you don't have them. Now, why are we interested in this light bowgun? I always focus on the important weapons first. The reason why is because KULVE TAROTH has shown up again, and we're back to grinding her for her precious loot, and this new weapon, Empress Shell Styx, is the new best light bowgun for fighting KULVE TAROTH. When we're talking about fighting KULVE TAROTH, I'm really referring to stages 1, 2, and 3, okay? If you're talking about stage 4, there's a variety of different ways you can fight her in stage 4. There's the Legiana bow. I like to use Dark Devourer, actually. That's my favorite. That's the Heavy Bowgun Dark Devourer, right? And if you're interested in that weapon, I just recently made a guide for it, so you can jump over to that. I use it on stage 4 all the time. It's terrific. You just shoot the sticky ammo at KULVE TAROTH's horns, you're dealing damage, and you're causing KOs. After 2 KOs, I usually switch over to putting KULVE TAROTH to sleep if we haven't already broken her horns at that point. So I put her to sleep and then I spam Wyvern, right? So that's stage 4, but we're talking about stages 1, 2, and 3, and that's the point where you're breaking off KULVE TAROTH's armor, right? And for all of you new players out there who are watching this video, please note that once you've broken her armor, right, like let's say you broke off a piece of her tail, move to a different part of her tail. The game will allow you to keep shooting that broken part of her tail, but it's really meaningless. The only thing that you're supposed to be doing in stages 1, 2, and 3 is breaking her armor and, of course, collecting the things that she drops, collecting her footprints, right? That's really important for getting your pursuit level up. And of course, there's breaking off the metal from her horns and then chipping her horns as well, but more importantly, you need to be breaking her armor. So that's why we're so interested in Empress Shell Styx, because what it offers us is a thunder ammo build, and thunder ammo is extremely effective against KULVE TAROTH. It's really interesting. As an ammo type, what it does is it travels through her body, and it does ticks of damage as it's traveling through, okay? And I previously just did a guide for the Empress Cannon Styx. That's the heavy bowgun version. I just want to mention, if you did watch that, I do have one mistake in it. You don't want weakness exploit on the build. Turns out you actually want critical eye. Okay, so you can go back in and make some edits. If you're using weakness exploit now, you'll want to switch it over to, I just learned that, so that's how it goes when you're making YouTube videos. You post something and you figure it out right afterwards, right? Okay, so Empress Shell Styx, why don't we jump over to talking about its base attributes? So it's going to have 247 attack, 10% affinity. That's pretty good. That's kind of above average, especially when you're talking about all of the vanilla light bowguns that came with the game when it launched. And when you're comparing it to like the KULVE TAROTH weapons, you do have the KULVE TAROTH. It's called the Blitz Pierce light bowgun, and it does have rapid fire thunder ammo, right? So it kind of competes with this one. However, the big difference is that Empress Shell Styx innately comes with the spare shot skill. And in this case, because we're talking about a small clip of ammo, right? When you're using the ammo up skill, that will give you a clip size of 4 for the thunder ammo. That's still a pretty small clip size, so having the spare shot is really valuable in this case, as opposed to not having it on the Blitz Pierce light bowgun, or being forced to take the Xeno'jiiva armor set in order to build spare shots, right? So other than that, you'll notice that it has a low deviation. I'm not really too worried about that. Deviation's never been a big sell to me, but it also has the special ammo of Wyvern Blast, which is the same for all light bowguns, and really is one of the reasons why you might consider using the Styx Heavy Bowgun. That's because the Styx Heavy Bowgun actually has Wyvernsnipe, and Wyvernsnipe's extremely effective against KULVE TAROTH, right? So yeah, I understand that the thunder ammo is not rapid fire on the Heavy Bowgun. I had a lot of people tell me that they said that the light bowgun was much, much better, but I kind of disagree. I think they're about even. I like the mobility on the light bowgun. However, I had Evade Extender 3 on the heavy bowgun version, and this is possible now because Lunastra also gave us an excellent helmet that's very efficient for building Evade Extender. So now you can get Evade Extender onto your heavy bowgun builds. So I'm not really worried about mobility on the heavy bowgun, and then you get the Wyvernsnipe, and you get 7 shots of the thunder ammo on the heavy bowgun. The difference is, of course, it's not rapid fire thunder ammo, but because the clip size is so big, your sustained DPS is still going to pretty much compete with the light bowgun. I didn't really feel a difference too much between the two, and I actually think that the heavy bowgun might have been stronger just because of that Wyvernsnipe, but that might have been my bias. I don't really have any real scientific data or evidence for it. It's just kind of intuitively it felt that way. Alright, so I've kind of rambled on between comparing the Empress Shell Styx to the Empress Cannon Styx. Again, my conclusion is that I think they're actually very close to each other and you should use the one that you prefer. Why don't we jump over to talking about why I chose 3 recoil suppressors for the custom mods. That's because you're going to need that in order to get your recoil down on the Thunder ammo. It actually comes with very high recoil. That's not good because high recoil, it changes your mobility. You'll be stuck in place while you're firing, but it does another thing as well. High recoil, it slows down your rate of fire. You don't want that. So we put 3 recoil suppressor mods on, and really that's not a big problem in this case because with elemental damage, they're not affected by attack boost as much as they're affected by like having more elemental crit damage or just something similar to that. So the recoil suppressors are actually just fine here. You don't need the ranged attack up mods. You're certainly welcome to try it, but you'll see the difference. Alright, so usually I talk a little bit about the ammo. I just want to point out that this is an excellent light bowgun, both for thunder ammo and water ammo. And so you can take the build that I have and kind of see what I'm doing with it. And really, this is for fighting KULVE Taroth, right? That's what this video is going to be about. And you'll notice that for the build, I'm going to have Part Breaker. Part Breaker is priority when you're fighting KULVE Taroth. And when you take this light bowgun to fight just maybe a regular monster like Basilgeuse, you won't need Part Breaker at all. So you can just find more ways to get more damage onto it. You can get weakness exploit onto it in that case. But here we are fighting KULVE Taroth. We're not going to have weakness exploit. Let's start talking about the build, right? We kind of already are, right? So as I mentioned, Part Breaker is a priority skill because your main job when you're fighting KULVE Taroth in stage 1, 2, and 3 is to drop all the boulders on her, to pick up all of her tracks, and to break all of her armor multiple times, right? Once you've broken a part of her armor, you just want to move on to the next part of her armor. It's really important. You also want to break off the gold part of her horns, right? That's pretty easy to do. And yeah, so you basically with the thunder ammo, you're just going to be aiming down the length of her body, and you're going to be breaking up her parts. And when you're done breaking up one set of parts, you move on to another set. So Part Breaker is a priority skill versus KULVE Taroth all the way through, all stages. And then after that, we really take a look at how do we get damage onto this gun. So when you're talking about elemental ammo, they're all pretty universally going to use one skill called Critical Element. This comes with the Rathalos armor set. You got to wear 2 pieces of it. And in my case, I've chosen the Rathasoul Mail Beta, and I've chosen the Rathasoul Helm Beta. And yeah, so I've got Critical Element, and then with that, I kind of combine having as much affinity as I can get away with. So I have 5 levels of Critical Eye, and I have 3 levels of Maximum Might, and so I'm going to get more crits out of my Thunder ammo just because of those 2 skills, right? And then after that, I would say the other really important skill to bring with this build is the Free Element / Ammo Up skill. So this is going to give you 1 more bullet in your clip. And that's really important for increasing your sustained DPS. The fewer times you reload over the course of the fight really just means you were dealing more damage over the course of the fight, and that's kind of how that works. And the rest of the build is kind of self-explanatory. We have Critical Boost because of the Rathasoul helmet. Critical Boost isn't really going to help us that much because the Thunder ammo, the truth is it does deal a little bit of physical damage, raw damage, but not very much, not enough to care about it. So Crit Boost is kind of like a useless skill here. It just came with the helmet. We have Blight Resistance. Again, we don't need that. Thunder Attack, you can actually take Thunder Attack to rank 3, but I only take it to rank 2 because I find the 3rd level is it's just not that efficient. So yeah, you can take it to level 3 if you want. I don't really worry about it. And of course, the Spare Shot skill comes with the Empress Shell Styx gun, which is why it's so good, which is why I'm recommending that you build it if you like light bowguns and if you like thunder ammo, right? If you like killing KULVE Taroth fast. Alright, and that's pretty much everything I have to say about the Empress Shell Styx. So, going over it again real fast, if you already have the Taroth Blitz Pierce, you might just use that and not really worry about the Empress Shell Styx. I still think Empress Shell Styx is a better option because of its spare shot. And then, of course, if you like heavy bowguns better, take a look at my Empress Cannon Styx guide, because I think that that's definitely a fair option. I think they do about the same damage, in my opinion. Probably doesn't look that way to you, but the fact that you don't have to reload because your clip size 7, that's what evens it out, right? You might have a little less damage per bullet, but you shoot more bullets. Some other tips I might mention is be sure to bring the Fireproof Mantle. That's really useful against KULVE Taroth, especially in stage 3 and stage 4. It's very useful. And yeah, good luck, guys. I hope you get the weapons you want. If you are familiar with my channel, you know I have a lot of bowgun guides at this point, and many of those guides are going to be taking a look at the KULVE Taroth weapons that you may be unlocking right now. Alright, and finally, I think we need to go ahead and give the Empress Shell Styx a tier rating. This tier rating is going to be strictly based off of how it performs against KULVE Taroth. In the future, I may come back to it and take a look at, I don't know, like a slice build. The problem, slice ammo is not that strong right now, and I don't think that this is necessarily a better pierce ammo build than the Blitz Pierce Light Bowgun. So I think the only reason I would use Empress Shell Styx is to fight KULVE Taroth in stage 1, 2, and 3. And that's fine. It's fine to have a niche weapon that does that as well as it does a very good job. So the rating's just going to be focused on, fighting KULVE Taroth. That's what the tier rating is going to reflect. And just like the Empress Cannon Styx, I'm going to go ahead and put it into A+ tier. I think it does an excellent job. I think there's a few weapons that kind of do slightly better. I'm thinking of the Thunderbows, and I'm thinking of maybe cluster bombs. I suspect cluster bombs are a little better. But in terms of effectiveness, I think, well, let me put it this way too. It's not only do I think this is extremely strong, I think it's extremely easy as well. So really go give it a try. Alright, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I just want to thank y'all so much!